All right, so in this episode of Key Health Issues for Young People, we are looking at injury and deaths, and included in that is suicide. So injury and deaths is the preventable injury and death from accidents, violence, and self-harm. Key statistics: 2/3 of deaths for all 15 to 24-year-olds in Australia are injury related, so they fall into this category. That's a lot, okay? It's actually over 2/3. The actual statistic is 69%. I just thought 2/3 is probably easier for you to remember. That's a lot, all right? 50% of this number though are suicide, which is even more alarming, okay? Trending. Overall, the death rate for young people due to injury and deaths is declining, which is good, but that also could be from other videos you've done. That also could be from other things increasing, okay? However, the rate of suicide is actually increasing, which is bad and needs attention. So causes of this stuff, all right? Risk-taking behaviors, generally, young people, while you're developing your brain, you're going to take risks. Everyone does it, but you do it. We've done it all the way through the generations, okay? Teenagers 100 years ago took risks, okay? It's just these days, unfortunately, and you could think of things like due to social media and things that you see online, is that, there's more ways to take risks these days as to, back in my day when we didn't have as many risky things. So I did elaborate on this in a previous video, but when I was a teenager, we had all the risky things you currently have, plus a good proportion of things that weren't even invented yet that you guys do regularly. So crazy. Lack of self-awareness, so that could be due to drug and alcohol usage, but also just not thinking through the plan. I'm going to do this sick thing, we're going to record it, and it's going to be heaps good, and sort of not really seeing the bigger picture there. This is probably the biggest driver though, increased mental health issues. And once again, I have talked about this previously, but we know that the rates of anxiety and depression and mental health illnesses are increasing in young people due to, demand, pressure, stress, family environments, peer conflicts, etc., etc., etc. Okay? And because those things are going up, unfortunately, if the correct social and support networks are not seeked out, then this rate goes up too. And another cause could be the usage of alcohol and drugs at home or in the home environment without lack of parental supervision, okay? So we know that these days, a lot of parents are both working, okay, 9 to 5 or doing some crazy hours, and a lot of time teenagers will come home to an empty house, all right? You wind that back 20, 30 years, most teenagers would come home to at least a parent or a grandparent who would be there to look after them and help them in the afternoon and just to be there, okay, just to be present, okay? These days, a lot of you guys will go home to an empty house and, well, you can get up to whatever, which isn't necessarily good because then lack of self-awareness and taking risks, something you're seeing online, can lead to bad things happening. So protective factors. I should also mention that when we say preventable injury here, that could be like you being admitted to hospital because you took too many drugs or alcohol. That counts as injury, right? Protective factors, all right? So how do we avoid this stuff, all right? Good safety and risk-based education, which we do deliver in our syllabus. Strong social connections and strong family parental guidance and presence. So these two are probably the most important ones, right? If you feel connected with peers and you hang out with peers that are good for you and they encourage you to do good things and not bad things, then you're less likely to engage in any of this type of behavior. But the same with your parents, okay? If you've got parents that are there and they're supportive and they are around and they're just there when you need them, okay? Then that is also an important factor to avoiding a lot of this stuff, all right? I didn't write it there, but access to like support networks should be like mental health support networks is important. And finally, one of the reasons why overall injuries are going down is this use of protective equipment. Like seatbelts count as a protective equipment, which has lowered, motor vehicle accidents, and that used to be injury classed. Well, actually, it still is classed as an injury, but we're going to talk about it separately. Another one, like helmets, okay, so the use of bike helmets, helmets on scooters, which, if you fall off, then it's going to protect your head. But also there are good laws and things being implemented around safety, such as, you can have an e-scooter, but you must wear a helmet and it must be under a certain maximum kilometer per hour speed limit, all right, that it can reach for you to ride. So we have lots of rules these days. Everyone should know this. We didn't have as many rules when I was younger, but I even joke about it in my job as a teacher. We didn't have as many rules, 10, 15 years ago as me being a teacher in the classroom, as opposed to what I have to go through now every day. So yeah, lots of rules, but it is to keep everybody safe or safer. So in conclusion, while overall rates are declining, so that's overall rates of injuries, due to safety measures that we just spoke about, the suicide rate remains high and it is increasing. And it probably requires a direct intervention and a preventative strategies implemented to reduce the likelihood of that happening in young people in Australia. And that's injuries and death. Thanks.